Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. We are on part 3 of walking through just lessons of discipleship through Mark chapter 10. We've looked at the priority of discipleship and the rich young ruler, that Jesus wants us to love him first, and he wants us to love him most, that we can't earn it. It's a gift that we receive. We receive his love, and then all of the journey of discipleship is learning to reciprocate that love that we first received. And then we looked at the posture of discipleship, and that was, James and John asking Jesus, can we sit at your right or at your left? And Jesus has to show them that the posture of a disciple is one of servanthood, that sacrificial love and lifting the other up over our own preferences and even position in the name of Christ. And then today, this last lesson I want to look at is the privilege of discipleship. The privilege of discipleship. And if you continue on in Mark chapter 10, we meet a man who's blind named Bartimaeus. It's a powerful, powerful story. It says this, that Jesus and his disciples, came to Jericho. As he and his disciples and a large crowd were leaving Jericho, Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, a blind beggar, was sitting by the roadside. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout out and say, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. And it's this incredible scene where this blind man named Bartimaeus interrupts the scene. And he does two things when he cries out to Jesus. First thing is he proclaims Jesus' royal identity as David's heir to the everlasting throne. And then he appeals to the king's mercy, or the Messiah's mercy. King Jesus, give me what I do not deserve. Here's this man who's totally helpless in his own strength, begging. But he hears of one who passes by the road that he sat beside, begging, hoping, longing. And it's powerful what happens next. Many sternly ordered him to be quiet, but he cried out even more loudly, Son of David, have mercy on me. And it's just a powerful lesson on discipleship, that there are going to be times when we follow Jesus that we come up against a wall. We come up against barriers or blockages. And it's in those moments that we don't just passively hope everything gets better, but that we can appeal to the mercy of God. And it's really powerful that even though he's disruptive, he's desperate. He will not be denied or deterred. It's mercy he needs, and it's mercy he's crying out for. And I love what happens next in the story. Instead of being a bother to Jesus, look what happens next. Jesus stood still and said, call him here. And they called the blind man, saying to him, take heart, get up. He is calling you. So throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and he came to Jesus. This man, because of his desperate cry for mercy, he stops Jesus in his tracks, and he calls Bartimaeus to himself, who immediately springs and comes to Jesus. Now, this is a powerful third episode of discipleship in Mark 10. Only this time, Jesus is the one asking a question. I want you to catch that. Jesus said to him, what do you want me to do for you? The blind man said to him, my teacher, let me see again. Jesus said to him, go, your faith has made you well. Immediately he regained his sight and followed him on the way. And here on this third lesson of discipleship in Mark 10, we see the question is not from the disciple to the master, but from the master to the disciple. And it's so profound. This time it comes from Jesus. And this is the privilege of discipleship, my friends. Having the teacher's ear, because the teacher's heart and mind are being formed in us. What can I do for you, Bartimaeus? Because you've been humble, because you've appealed to my mercy, you've acknowledged my royal identity as David's son and rightful heir to Israel's throne. What can I do for you? Because you weren't entitled or jockeying for position, but you knew your place in the big picture and you cried out for mercy. What can I do for you? And friends, this is the privilege of discipleship as he's being formed in us, that God actually calls us his friends. And so again, the three lessons from Mark 10, the priority of discipleship: love God first and love God most. And then we have the posture of discipleship, becoming a servant of God and a slave of all, which is to lay down our rights for the sake of the other and for the sake of Jesus. And then here, the last story, we have the privilege of discipleship, living as a friend of God and a co-heir with Jesus. And man, I pray that you and I grow in our discipleship, in our following of Jesus, that he would form us and fashion us and fill us, that we would be those living representatives of the love and the presence of Jesus in our world. If there's ever been a time for that to be apparent in our world, it's today. And so bless you on the road of discipleship. It's never a one and done or a quick fix, but it's that long haul journey of being formed as we follow, as we abide in, and as we obey Jesus. And so bless you. Leave a comment below. I'd love to interact in any way. And just thank you so much for tuning in.